Welcome everybody, it's Solomon. In this video we are going to be talking about the idea if Raven Software would become a main developer for Call of Duty. So why would they even become a main developer for Call of Duty? Why would we even be considering this? Well, let me explain right here. So Raven Software has actually been helping the Call of Duty series for a long time now. They started all the way back in Black Ops 1 within a DLC, and actually keep that in your mind because I'm going to come back to that. But after Black Ops 1, they pretty much helped with almost every other COD to Call of Duty Ghost. But then they didn't help within Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3, and we didn't know what they were really doing. Not a lot of people cared either, but we actually found that they were working on a remastered Call of Duty 4. So this was actually a really cool thing to come with Infinite Warfare, and they actually got to do their own thing. Well, it's technically not their own thing, they're kind of remastering it, but they are taking care of this thing as if it is their own because they're the ones who are in charge of the COD 4 servers. It has nothing to do with Infinity Ward. Infinity Ward almost has nothing to do with this Call of Duty 4 release. It just came together with Infinite Warfare. But the real reason why we would even consider Raven Software even becoming a main developer is because the popularity they've been gaining, especially with this remaster that's actually competing with the brand new Call of Duty, which is obviously Infinite Warfare. To actually compete with a brand new Call of Duty is insane, even though you are a remastered Call of Duty. Nonetheless, it's pretty impressive, and a lot of people are actually very pleased with Raven Software. So if it is true that they actually do become a main Call of Duty developer, then what would they actually do? Would they keep it in the future, move back to the past, or bring it back to modern times? Would they have advanced movements, boots on the ground, and what about a zombies mode? These are a lot of things that people have been wondering if that is the case. So actually a lot of these have been answered before inside an interview that one of the studio heads actually had an interview with Charlie Intel. So he's actually asked almost this exact question, and they asked what they would do if they became a main developer for Call of Duty. And he started off saying being able to work with the most successful game every year is something that Raven Software has been able to do for a long time, and he's just saying like I just said because they've been working with almost every other Call of Duty for a long time now. But then he goes on to say that it would be gameplay first. Boy, do we like the modern period. So you know what? We haven't really discussed that, but I could tell you that our team is all in this one game, and this time period feels really good. Of course, talking about Modern Warfare Remastered, and I think given that Advanced Warfare was slightly in the future, and Black Ops 3 was a bit further in the future, and now Infinite Warfare is very far into the future, I think there are a good group of people at Raven that are like, hey, what if we were to bring this back to the modern times? So I would say that's probably where we would start. We would go with what the team is excited about today, and that is definitely modern. So this being said, we could actually gain a lot from this, so it would most likely be in the modern time because they are actually very excited about that. From what he said, it looks like they like the modern times, especially because they're working on Modern Warfare Remastered and they're completely in charge of that. And since this is one of their only Call of Duties they're running pretty much, it would make sense that they would continue on this, at least if they did make a Call of Duty. So it'd probably be in the modern times, and of course, if it's in the modern times, then there would obviously be no advanced movement, so it'd be boots on the ground, and that would make everybody so happy. At least I think so. At least the majority of the people, it'd make them happy because people are kind of sick of this advanced movement system. So that answers a lot of questions for like campaign and multiplayer, which are two really big things inside Call of Duty. But what about a secondary mode or the zombies mode? Would they actually continue with the zombies mode? It's actually pretty interesting because remember I said to keep in your head that they worked with Black Ops 1? They actually worked with a Pacific DLC. It was actually DLC 3. Now I can't confirm anything I'm just about to say, but what they did help inside DLC 3. And also, if you look at Jimmy Zielinski's work, like what he's done inside his career, he starts talking on his website. He has all the zombie maps he's worked on. There's actually one map not there. It's actually Shangri-La, and at the same time Raven Software came in. So I'm not too sure if Raven Software are the ones who actually did Shangri-La, but if they did, then that would mean that they already have experience with zombies, so it could make sense that they would continue zombies, and probably Activision would force them to make a zombies mode anyways. But seeing what they've worked on, since they have seen the evolution of zombies from all the way back at Black Ops 1, they helped all the way back then, and they've seen through Black Ops 2 Exo Zombies, which is kind of not a really good thing. But then they had Black Ops 3, which is a really good thing, and now they're going to be watching through all of Infinite Warfare, and of course whatever comes from Sledgehammer Games in 2017. So they'll have a lot of outside experience of everything they're seeing. It's kind of like outside experience and inside, because they have been working with these, and being working with all these studios for so long, you would think that maybe they did have a hand inside any of these zombie modes. It's pretty obvious that they would have a zombies mode. Like I said, Activision would most likely make them put a zombies mode in there because of how popular zombies is. So what would it be? Like, you could tell from what he's saying that a lot of them like a modern times area. So what if they actually bring a modern time zombies mode? That would be pretty interesting, because we've never had that before inside zombies. That'd be pretty interesting to see what they did with that. And I'd like to see what they did with the storyline. A lot of this is really speculation, but to see that he doesn't really like the future, as he's pointing towards Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare, I don't think he'd bring into the future. It's possibly he could bring into the past, or not, probably not him specifically, but the team at Raven Software. They could do a lot of things, and that'd be pretty interesting if they did do a zombies mode inside the modern era. But I don't want to speculate too much, even though it's pretty cool to speculate about. But one last thing I want to bring up is actually the cycle and how it would actually work, because right now we have a 3-year cycle. So it goes from Treyarch to Infinity Ward to Sledgehammer Games, and just continues on that cycle. Now obviously that wasn't always the case. It used to just be a 2-year cycle where it'd be Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and then just 2 years ago they added in Sledgehammer Games to make it into a 3-year cycle. If they did add in Raven Software, would it make it a 4-year cycle? That'd be a pretty long cycle, especially for people who look forward to Pacific Developer, which a lot of people look forward to Treyarch's game. So to wait 4 years for that game, it seems like a bit much, at least to me. I know the game would be made better, but 4 years, I'm not liking it. So that's one option, but they could also just maybe kick somebody out from there. Now obviously I highly doubt it'd be Treyarch, because Treyarch games are so popular right now compared to any other Call of Duty developer, and to say Sledgehammer Games would get kicked out, even though Sledgehammer Games really brought everything people hated from these recent Call of Duties. They brought in the supply drop system, they brought in the expo movement. Even though they did all that, they bring in all the variants and everything, all this bad they bring in, they also made Activision a boatload of money. They made Activision so much money for doing that. To say that Activision would kick out a studio they actually just added in 2 years ago, it'd be kind of a stretch. But now looking at the last studio, Infinity Ward, even though Infinity Ward were the first people to make Call of Duty, to see what they did, especially with Infinite Warfare, which really isn't doing that good, and their previous game, Call of Duty Ghosts, these 2 games have not been doing good for them. So to say that Raven could take their place is not too far of a stretch. So that is one option. I kind of don't want to say I prefer that one to the 4-year cycle, but I really wouldn't like to see a 4-year cycle, and it doesn't look like Infinity Ward's going to be proving itself to Activision anytime soon either. So of course that's just speculation, but go ahead and tell me what you guys think about any of this down in the comments. Tell me what you guys think about the idea of Raven even becoming a main developer, or about the 4-year cycle, the zombies mode, the multiplayer, anything you could think about. Go ahead and leave it down there. But if you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead and thumbs up. If you guys want to stay tuned for more videos just like this, go ahead and subscribe. But I'm going to go, and I will catch you guys on my next video.